Hello kids! Welcome to our English 4, Quarter 4, Week 2 lesson. In your previous lesson, you learned to give conclusions to a realistic fiction. So again, what are the things we need to remember when giving a conclusion to any realistic fiction? Yes, as far as I can remember, I have given you an addition sentence to easily do this, and that is story clues, which is what you read in the text, plus what you know, your own experiences, is equal to conclusion. So this time, kids, you will be taught to write a story with its complete elements. Writing your own story clearly shows smartness, which will help you gain self-confidence and credence to what you write. So, after going through this lesson, you are expected to first write a short story, whether fiction or non-fiction, with its complete elements. And second, realize that writing is fun and will help you gain confidence in writing. Now, I want you to try this. Read the following ideas, then match the words in column A with the statements in column B. So for column A, we have the words setting for number 1, character for number 2, plot, number 3, 4, climax, and 5, resolution. So which among the statements in column B matches the definition of the first word in column A? For setting, so which among the letters in column B matches the definition of the word setting? Okay, so that is letter B. So setting provides us with the when and the where the story took place. What about the character? Character, it's letter D. So the people or animals that take part in the story. About number 3, plot. These are the events in the story, so it's letter E. For climax, climax is the most exciting part of the story where the plot is leading, so that is letter A. And the last one, which is number 5, resolution. Okay, these are the events in the story. So kids, don't you worry if you got lost curves here. This will be further elucidated as we go through our lesson. But if you got all correct answers in this area, then that's very good. This time, kids, let us learn more about short stories, fiction or non-fiction with their complete elements. So here are the ideas that you need to remember. So let us begin with the question, what is exactly a short story? So a short story is a piece of prose fiction that typically can be read in one sitting and focuses on a self-contained incident or series of linked incidents with the intent of evoking a single effect or mood. So it is crafted from its own right. So in short, kids, in other words, this is meant to be read in one sitting. So it's just so short. What about realistic fiction and non-fiction? So when we say realistic fiction, this is a story that tells us about characters and events that are similar to people and animals in real life. So it can be a short story, novel, a fairy tale, and fable. So kids, this did not actually happen but could have happened. Okay, so the events and even the places may be real. What about non-fiction? So when we say non-fiction, this refers to factual stories that are based on real people and true events. So it can be a news, a speech, a history, biography, and an essay. So kids, please remember that non-fiction is always based on facts and it is very objective. So I have here a few examples of fiction and non-fiction. So as you can see, we have here 3. For fiction, the fairy gave the man a pot of gold, the dog talked to his master, and the fable of Owl and Pussycat. What about for nonfiction? So I also have 3 here. The history of the Philippines, of course, this is based on facts, news articles about coronavirus, and the speech of the principal. Okay? Here are the basic elements of short story. Let's start with the character. So this refers to the people or animals involved in the story. So the character could either be antagonist or protagonist. So antagonist, the bad guy in the story, or the one who opposes the main character. And the protagonist, usually the good guy, or the hero of the story, or the main character. We also have the setting. So when we say setting, this talks about the place and the time that the events in the story happened. So the time could be day, month, year, time of the day, or season. Place could also be state, country, area, building, or surroundings. For the plot, this is made up of events that happened in the story. A plot usually consists of the beginning, the middle, and the ending of the story. So when we say beginning, this gives the problem faced by the main character. For the middle, it presents the actions made by the character to solve the problem. And the ending, it gives the solution to the problem. Okay, the next one is climax. Okay, so climax is the most important part of the story where the plot is leading. So this is the highest point of suspense or action, the point of the story where all the actions changes towards the end of the story. It is always referred to as the turning point. And the last one is the resolution. The resolution is the closing of the story. It is the point where the main conflict is resolved. For you to better understand today's lesson, I have prepared here a sample short story for you to read, and then later on, let us identify the different elements of a short story. Okay? And this is entitled The Crow and the Pitcher. The Crow and the Pitcher. On a hot summer day, a thirsty crow looked for water to drink. "It's hot. I'm thirsty," said the crow. "I need to find water." The crow flew from one place to another looking for water to drink. He finally found a pitcher near a well, but there was only water in the pitcher. He tried to drink from the pitcher, but no matter how much he tried, he could not reach the water. He threw himself against the barrel, trying to knock the barrel over. But the barrel held still. The crow became very anxious. "What should I do? My beak is too big. The pitcher's neck is very narrow. How will I get the water?" he thought. Then an idea came to the crow. He picked up some small stones. He dropped them into the pitcher one by one. 1, 2, 3, plop, plip, plop. Little by little, the water rose in the pitcher. 4, 5, 6, plop, plip, plop. Little the water rose some more. Soon the crow could reach the water. "Now I can drink," said the crow. "Ah, it's cold and good." Finally, the crow was able to drink. Now let us identify the elements in the story, The Crow and the Pitcher. Let's start with the character. So who is the character in the story? Okay, so we have the crow. Did you get the same answer? Very good. So this time, let us look at the setting of the story. What is the setting of the story? One hot summer day. Very good. What about the climax? The most exciting part of the story where the plot is leading. So that's a climax. So the climax is the crow is very thirsty yet could not reach a small amount of water in the pitcher he finds. So instead of giving up, He tries everything he could to reach the water. And then the resolution, how was it resolved? The crow got pebbles to raise the water level in the pitcher so he could reach the water. And what happened after that? The crow finally reached the water. So to check if we have learned something from today's topic, let us practice writing a story by arranging the series of events flash on the screen and then write them in a paragraph form. So the title of the story is The Box. So that we have here the first statement. Mrs. Flores smiled and said, "Thank you, boys. I shall help you find the owner." The second one is, "Good morning, Mrs. Flores. We found this box under the stairs. Somebody left it," said Andre. And the third statement is, "Let's look for the owner of the box," said John. Just then, the school principal arrived. And the fourth one is, John and Andre were classmates. They came to school early. There were no other pupils in the school yet. "Look," said Andre. "There is a box under the stairs. It is big." So I'll give you 3 minutes to do this. Then after 3 minutes, we'll immediately check your answer. Okay, go. Okay, are you done? So let's check your answer. So the title is The Box. So the first thing we're going to put in the story is that the last statement we have read. So John and Andre were classmates. They came to school early. There were no other pupils in the school yet. "Look," said Andre. "There is a box under the stairs. It is big. Let's look for the owner of that box," said John. Just then, the school principal arrived. "Good morning, Mrs. Flores. We found this box under the stairs. Somebody left it," said Andre. Mrs. Flores smiled and said, "Thank you, boys. I shall help you find the owner." Did you get the same answer? Well, that's very good. So this time we'll do learning task number 2. So we're going to read the following details given in the columns below, then arrange the details and write them in a paragraph form to create again a short story. You may do this in your notebook. So the title is Buddy and the Cat. The setting, dark places in the house. The character, little Buddy Cockroach and the mother bug. The plot, he listens to her with half an ear, not really believing in what she says. How could they not like me? I have beautiful eyes, shiny wings, and long antenna. Surely, they would love me, he thought. Then, Buddy saw Black Cat and said, I will show Mother Cockroach that she is wrong. Climax, but when the cat saw him, it immediately jumped and started running after him in its sharp claws. For the resolution, Buddy ran as fast as he could to the dark place under the cabinet and never ever came out. So, I want you to arrange the details and write them in a paragraph form. You will be given 3 minutes to finish this. Okay? Go. Okay, are you done? Let's check your answers. So, this is the answer key for learning task 2, Buddy and the cat. Little Buddy Cockroach is a house bug. Mother Bug always tells him to stay in dark places in the house and hide. He listens to her with half an ear, not really believing in what she says. How could they not believe me? I have beautiful shiny wings, a long antenna. Surely they would love me, he thought. Then Buddy saw Black Cat and said, I will show Mother Cockroach that she is wrong. And when the cat saw him, it immediately jumped and started running after him with its sharp claws. Buddy ran as fast as he could to the dark place under the cabinet and never ever came out. So, this is how you should have arranged your story. Did you get the same answer? Well, that's good to hear. So this time, you will do another task. You're going to choose a story that you want to write, then refer to the outline below on the screen to help you remember the details or elements you need to include in writing your story. For this one, we have setting. So the setting should compose of the time, the place, the location, the weather, the mood or the atmosphere, and it should deal with 3 sentences. Okay, so that's for the setting. So your story should have a setting. And it should have a problem and solution. Okay, this is developing the plot. So you have to include the questions we have here in your short story. What is going to be the main problem in your story? What event do you want to put to build more suspense? What is the solution to the problem? What is going to be the climax of the story? And the last one is, what is the ending of the story? Okay? And the last is the characterization. So, developing your character in the story. So, you will be given a longer time to do this. You may do it for 10 minutes. Okay? So that you will have enough time to craft your own short story. So, here is a short story outline rubric. So, the solution to the character's problem is easy to understand and is logical. So, there are no loose ends. So, that is 2 points. For the setting, many vivid, descriptive words are used to tell when and where the story took place. That is another 2 points. For the plot, several action verbs or active voice are used to describe what is happening in the story. And the story seems exciting. That is another 2 points. For the problem or conflict, It is very easy for the reader to understand the problem of the main characters face and why it is a problem. So another 2 points for that. And the last one is that the main characters are named and clearly described in the text as well as pictures for 2 points. So a total of 10 points. For learning task 4, kids, you're going to write a story about any of the given topics with complete elements. So you're going to use a rubric for the short story rating and then use the given sample format. Your character is the inventor of the new application in online game. Number 2, your character living in poverty comes into an unexpected fortune. And the last one, your character discovers a pot of gold. So you're going to choose any of the given topics on the screen. So if you want number 1, you may do so. For number 2, if you want to share a story or create a story with a character living in poverty which comes into an unexpected fortune, you may do so. And the last one, if you want to create a story with a character that discovers a pot of gold, you may also do so. Okay? So please follow this format. You write first your topic and then start with the introduction, the plot or the problem, the climax, and the resolution. Okay, you will be given enough time to do this. I'll give you another 10 minutes to craft your own short story by following the template I have given. So this time, let us see how well do you remember this lesson. So you're going to supply the words to complete the ideas in writing a short story. Okay, let's start. A blank is a piece of prose fiction that typically can be read in one sitting and focuses on a self-contained incident or series of linked incidents with the intent of evoking a single effect or mood. It is crafted from its own right. So, what do you think is the answer for this one? Yes, it's a short story. Next, blank is a story that tells about the characters and events that are similar to people and animals in real life. What is this? It is a realistic fiction. Okay? And the last one, it can be a short story, novel, fairy tale, and fable. Blank refers to factual stories that are based on real people and true events. It can be a news, a speech, a history, biography, and an essay. It is always objective. What is this? It's a nonfiction. Very good. For the assessment or the last part of our lesson, you're going to compose another short story with the complete elements by choosing one of the topics mentioned on the screen or flash on the screen. Number 1, your character is experiencing super typhoon. 2, a young boy found a magic bag. 3, you are one of the characters in the Treasure Quest game. 4, your character is watching horror movies. And number 5, an old woman who became a beautiful fairy. So you're just going to choose one among the topics flash on the screen. So don't forget to include the following. You should have the setting, which is composed the time, the place, location, weather, mood, or atmosphere, and it should also deal with 3 sentences. The problem and the solution, of course, developing the plot line, what is going to be the main problem in your story, the event you want to put to build more suspense, the solution to the problem, and what is going to be the climax of the story, and the last one is the ending of the story. Of course, do not forget the characterization. So this time, I want you to communicate your personal assessment as indicated in the learner's assessment card. So personal assessment on learner's level of performance. So using the symbols on the screen, you're going to choose one which best describes your experience in working on each given task. Draw it in the column for the level of performance and be guided by the descriptions. If it is a star, you were able to perform the task without any difficulty, and the task helped you in understanding the target content or lesson. Okay, you put a check if you were able to perform the task and it was quite challenging, but it still helped you understand the target or the lesson. And put a question mark if you were able to do or perform the task. You find it difficult that you need additional enrichment activities to be able to do or perform the task. So we have learning task number 1, 2, 3, 4, assimilation, and then assessment. So that's all for today, kids. See you again next time. Thank you very much.